Hello everyone, welcome to our machine learning channel. I'm your host Ruchika and today's topics are probability distributions and maximum likelihood estimation for the parameters of a Gaussian distribution. For a discrete variable, the probability distribution is called as probability mass function, and for a continuous variable it is called as probability density function. I'm running this code in Jupyter Notebook. If you want to know how to install Python and open a Jupyter Notebook, you can take a look at the link given below. These are the three main libraries which I'm going to use for this code, and you can import it using import command. NumPy is required for scientific computation, Matplotlib is required for plotting, and Seaborn is another data visualization library based on Matplotlib. If you don't have any of these libraries, you can use pip install and then the library name to install it. You can either install it using the Anaconda terminal, or you can use Jupyter Notebook with a sign of exclamation before writing pip install and then the library name. We can use shift and enter to run this and it'll install it in the Python package. You can also use shift and enter for executing this. Now we have imported all the required libraries. Our first topic is probability mass function. Let us suppose you are throwing a dice for 1000 times and you want to record the dice outcomes. You also want to find out what is the probability of occurrence of each value of the dice in those 1000 trials. So we can use probability mass function to get that information or to get that estimation. So here I'm using number of throws as 1000, and in outcomes I'm going to save the values of the dice outcomes. I'm executing this. Initially I'm saving 0 values for all the possibilities, and then I'll use np.random.choice range 1,7 because it is going to generate a random number between 1 to 6. Here 1 is inclusive and 7 is exclusive, and if I'll execute this outcome, it will give me a random number between 1 to 6. Now I'll run a loop for 1000 times. I'll run a for loop for 1000 times to store random values between 1 to 6 at different indices of the variable called outcomes. So here we can see random numbers between 1 to 6 for 1000 times. Because I want to count how many times each value was repeated, I'll use this np.unique outcomes comma return counts is equal to true. So it'll give me unique values of outcomes and it'll save in the variable called val, and it'll also count how many times each variable was repeated. Because I want to find the probability, as we are going to generate a probability mass function, we have to divide the count of the dice outcomes by total number of times we threw the dice. So it will be length of outcomes, which will be 1000, and then we'll have a probability here. Then we can use a bar plot to see the probability mass function. Here x-axis represents different dice values, which will be 1 to 6, and here is the probability. So 1 was repeated around 1.60, I can say, when we threw the dice for 1000 times. So this is the probability mass function, and we can see what is the probability of different values of the dice when it was thrown for 1000 times. Now the second topic is probability density function. As I mentioned earlier, if a variable is continuous, then the probability distribution is called as probability density function. Let us suppose I want to have 1000 random numbers from a uniform distribution ranging from 0 to 0.5. Then my values are something like this, and it seems the values are very close to each other. We can see that using np.uniquex. So here we can see the interval between the consecutive value is very less. That's why we can consider this as a continuous variable. Now we can use plot to plot the uniform distribution. We are using Seaborn here, and x is the variable which we want to plot, and we are plotting with the color green. and this is the title, uniform distribution. Here we can see the x has values between 0 to 0.5, but since the interval was too less, so these seems connected and hence it's a continuous distribution. Similarly, we can also plot a Gaussian distribution. We can use np.random.normal to sample 1000 random points from a Gaussian distribution with the mean 0 and unit standard deviation. Here I'm showing first 10 values which we sampled using this command, and we can also plot the Gaussian distribution with the color M means magenta, and the title here is Gaussian distribution. We can also turn off this histogram by using hist is equal to false, and this will give us a Gaussian distribution. Our next topic is maximum likelihood estimation of the parameters of a Gaussian distribution. Let us suppose we want to sample 1000 random points from a normal distribution or a Gaussian distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 5. We can plot that Gaussian distribution with green color. We can also change this color, as I was using magenta before, now I'm using green. Because I know what is the mean and standard deviation of this Gaussian distribution, I can also compute variance, which is 25, because the standard deviation is 5 and variance is square of the standard deviation. So the true mean is 0 and variance is 25. But let us suppose I have a Gaussian distribution and we don't have information about mean and standard deviation of a given Gaussian distribution. We can use maximum likelihood to estimate the parameters of a given Gaussian distribution. As Neeraj already covered in his lecture, this is the formula to compute maximum likelihood estimate of a mean. So what is mu-ml? Which it is 1 by n summation across all the data points, and here is the formula. So I can compute this and we can see the estimated mean using maximum likelihood estimation is 0.11, which is very close to 0, that is a true mean. Similarly, we can compute maximum likelihood estimate of the variance of a given Gaussian distribution using this formula, and here I'm using a for loop to get each value of a given data or a Gaussian distribution. I'm using sum to do summation across all the samples after subtracting mu-ml from it, and also squaring each value, and then I'm dividing it with the total number of points to compute variance. And we can see that the variance was 26.68. The variance came out this, which is very close to the actual variance. Hence, we'll be able to compute mean and variance of any given Gaussian distribution using these two formulas. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned to see the upcoming lectures. Thank you.